And it looks like players are getting ready to start here. I believe both are on 7. We have John, looks like turn 1, Ponder.
Yep, we'll be seeing a lot of that this weekend.
I will take every Ponder Brainstorm deck to win on camera.
What if there's 2 of them?
I will take every Ponder Brainstorm deck to win on camera. And he does not like his top 3. Gets the quick shuffle here.
Yeah, hopefully he'll find something that he likes. It's important to note that because of the heavy color requirements of Jesse's deck, we will not be seeing a Wasteland make any sort of appearance. Neither main nor sideboard.
Yep. No Wastelands in either deck.
No.
John looks like he has a Council's Judgment, a Force of Will, a blue card. Not quite sure what else he has in hand. I mean, the ideal start here for Jesse would be dropping getting a 1-drop creature here.
Yep, and Tiger will do just that, pretty much activating.
I gotta say, I am a little partial to Goblin Guide. I do like me a good Goblin Guide.
I like me a good Kurt Ape.
Taiga is a card you usually don't see your opponent fetch for in this format.
What is my opponent doing?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, turn 1 Goblin Guide.
Yeah, it's your buddy. So John did not stack his deck with Ponder, so he won't have any sort of...
I did not see what he flipped. I assume it's not a land. He did not put it into his hand.
It's a good choice. Do you see any more lands in John's hand?
Yeah, it looked like he had another one.
Okay.
Snapcaster.
Yeah, that is definitely not a land. Yeah, there is looks like a land in the... no, I think that's a counterspell in the back.
Is he stuck on 1 land?
And that second to last card on the left might be a fetch land. Although he might have been trying to...
Yep, Scalding.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I'm super greedy. I've keep in many times where I have 1 land and like a Ponder and a Brainstorm and just hope to run into it.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of these decks is that you have the 8 library manipulation spells in order to cut lands like that.
It looks like he also has Brainstorm in his hand as another blue card. Yep.
Yep. Using that right now.
There and a Swords, a Force, and a Flooded Strand off the Brainstorm. Can't quite make out what that last card is behind the second Brainstorm.
If I had to guess, I'd guess Counterspell.
And the Plains, and don't see what else he threw back there.
It's a shame with the drawn Sword Plowshares off the top that he wasn't able to use it that turn if he should choose to do so.
Goblin Guide's going to come in again. Did John put... Oh, wow. So John could have put the Plains on top of his library and then the Swords of the Plowshare next to get that kind of free card into his hand.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm surprised that he chose not to do that.
And Goyf. I imagine Goyf's going to eat a Force of Will here.
Yeah, at this point in the game, it looks to be about a 3-4 and would get bigger pretty quickly. And sure enough.
And Snapcaster's going to bite the bullet. And again, I'm not sure if you need to 2-for-1 there. You have the Swords coming. Maybe you just Swords the Plowshare that.
I feel like John is going to do something like that. Although I see
he definitely should at least wait this time for the Goblin Guide to get his free Plains on top.
Absolutely. Although it looks like Jesse might have an Eidolon the Great Revel as his play for the turn.
Is very good versus Stoneblade.
Yeah, you could run that guy out before combat, and he chooses not to though.
And
So,
now we're going to get our free planes.
there we go. Yeah, it's an interesting decision there to, especially since he is choosing the Swords to Plowshares, whether or not you run the Eidolon before combat to kind of hit John for an additional
And
2.
John corrects course. Swords to Plowshares after he gets his free planes.
You see the Gore Clan Rampager sitting in Jesse's hand. Now, one of the things about Jesse's deck is in the sideboard he has 2 Price of Progress, which John has elected not to play around at all this game. Maybe, although he does have access to Council's Judgment, so that might have a lot to do with that.
And that is going to eat a hard counter. Eidolon, if that resolves, that's a very good card.
Absolutely.
And Jace. I guess John's kind of thinking, well, Jesse already has multiple non-basics out. Maybe doesn't have the price main anyway.
It's true. Although
that could be his logic.
Yeah, Jesse's deck, though, tends to deal a little bit more damage and kind of break the symmetry of that. So.
Oh, no, I agree,
Yeah.
but just kind of maybe what he's thinking.
Yeah, that's fair. Jace does make his appearance.
So that's kind of always the decision with Jason Legacy, right? Does my opponent have the lightning bolt or not? I've seen people just kind of auto +2 Jason Legacy to kind of just dodge the the bolt.
Now Jesse does have 8 lightning bolt effects in his main deck with the bolts and the chains, so we could see that Jace disappear pretty quickly.
So he has Force of Will, a lightning bolt, and a blue card, I think, in the middle.
Yeah, looks like that to me.
Jesse looks like he is going through his line.
He's drawn a 4th land. Looks like he has 2 lands in hand, which is really not where you want to be.
He has a Path to Exile as well. We have another Goblin Guide. And I think he's trying to see where he wants to attack.
The way they're motioning, it might have been a situation where figuring out a Goblin Guide has to attack a player in order for that trigger to happen, or if it's just an attack
Yeah,
trigger.
I think they're just getting, sounds like a little bit of rules clarification there.
Yeah.
Yes, they are checking rules right now on Goblin Guide with, I assume, to be attacking the Jace.
Yeah, that would make sense to me here, especially given the Gore Clan Rampager getting a little bit of value by taking it out completely. For those of you who don't know, Gore Clan Rampager has Blood Rush. It's a 4/4 trampler. The Blood Rush ability, all the Blood Rush cards from Gate Crash had the ability that you basically, for a cost of paying mana and discarding the card, you could staple the stats of the creature onto an attacking creature of yours. In this case, 4/4 and trample for a red and a green.
And so going against kind of, the true names, kind of pushing some of that damage with trample.
Yeah, absolutely.
And John gets his land on top. Let's see what Jesse... Are we still in combat? Is he looking to maybe resolve punching through with the Gore Clan to kill Jace?
Yeah.
Or are we post-combat now?
It doesn't look like it's post-combat quite yet. I like the fact that Jesse has the unlimited art for his plateau.
And it looks like he is going to Gore Clan here.
Yep.
And get rid of the Jace.
And John also needs to know what that card does.
We got a reader.
Yeah, and that takes out the Jace.
Mm-hmm.
Can't
I mean,
counter that
that's
one.
yeah, that's just a card he has to get rid of, right?
Yeah. And because it's an ability, yeah, the Force of Will just kind of sticks around, not able to counter it.
And here comes a true name. That's going to put up quite the brick wall for Jesse here.
I'll name you as my opponent.
John still also has a lightning bolt should anything else also come down. Jesse looks like he's flooding out here.
Yeah, I think I see at least an additional land in his hand, if not two.
John also hitting his land drops quite a bit. Has quite a bit better board presence though with the true name Nemesis.
Yep, it is true.
But you never want to be at the point in Legacy where you can hard cash your Force of Wills.
No.
Typically.
In this situation, having Force of Will and Lightning Bolt up with the true name Nemesis isn't the worst place to be. Do you think we'll see an attack here with the true name?
Just by the nature of the deck, I think John might wait.
But he chooses not to.
He's going to go.
Wants to close this out.
I mean, right, there's two schools of thought there. You got to try to play to win, right? And at worst, he can just bolt off the Goblin Guide if it comes in, try to get a free land.
There you go. Engineered Explosives making an appearance on top. But choosing to bolt the Goblin. Yeah. We try to get that additional land, but no such luck. At this point.
So what do you set the Engineer Explosives to?
In this situation, I think he wants to hold up Force of Will for any kind of shenanigans that Jesse might present. So if he wants to play it, it'll have to be played on one. But it doesn't look like he wants to play it.
Yeah, he's already seen two Goblin Guides.
Yeah, he saw the Eidolon and the Tarmogoyf. He'd probably expect one of those to show a second time first before the third Goblin Guide. So.
And Jesse is just flooding out hard, man. 5 lands for, a zoo deck, and he has another land in hand.
Yeah, looks like he just drew another.
Oh, my. He has 2 more lands in hand.
Yeah.
Jesse just kind of, oh, man, he is drowning in lands.
I would want to say that you'd kind of sacrifice some of these lands.
He's drowning, yeah.
To try to get some more out of your deck, but at this point, that represents 3 fetch lands and an additional swing of the true name, so that's really not an option.
Yeah. He's just drowning in lands. I just...
Yeah. This is unfortunate.
And John, he just drew Stoneforge.
Yeah. Yeah, Jesse
Stoneforge is probably going to put the kibosh on this one.
Yeah.
And he looks like he's getting ready to play Stoneforge. And here we go.
It's like, I got this.
Most people just snap off the batter skull here. Here we go. And the batter skull is probably just going to put this game to bed.
Yeah.
Jesse just getting flooded out. I mean, not much you can really do there.
No, he only runs 20 lands, so it's kind of unprecedented.
And he's stuck with a Path to Exile in hand that can't even target the true name.
Yeah.
I don't know what else you do here.
Yeah,
he's got a Chain Lightning. That doesn't do much.
He might get rid of the Stoneforge for what it's worth. Try to save a turn, but really, that true name's going to attack again, get him to 2, and he has no way of blocking it, even if he draws some sort of
threat. Does Jesse have any way in his main deck to get rid of the true name?
No, he doesn't.
Doesn't look like he's going to be able to deal with the true name. He's got a Chain Lightning that can drop John down to 9. He does not have any main deck Price of Progress.
No, it's only the 2 in the board. Won't see it this game.
Well, the Price of Progress would kill Jesse too at this point.
Yeah. Sometimes you do play for the draw, though.
It's better play for the draw here?
I mean, it's better than losing.
Yeah.
If you'd like to smoke, you do have to go outside. Again, there is no smoking anywhere in the building. That includes this hall, the concourse, the stairwells, anywhere. You must go outside.
No smoking anywhere.
Jesse packs it up.
And Jesse packs that in. And true name just... Jesse did not have an answer and just got really flooded there. He just drew like all of his lands.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate for the 20-land deck to go so deep.
I mean, if you're a zoo deck and you have 8 lands on the battlefield, that's not very good.
No, not at all. And he did a little bit of fetching, so he really just hit the wrong third of his deck. So, yeah, sideboarding options.
Looking at sideboard, what do we got for sideboard?
All right, sideboard. I was talking about price progress. Would have been real good there. We'll probably see that. It's a 3-color deck. Obviously, it's not as good as it would be against the 4-color Leovold decks because there are a few basics floating around in John's main deck. But I think it's a reasonable card, kind of a way to push in that final damage after True Name locks you out of combat. Additionally, there's 2 Ancient Grudges. So obviously you saw the Stoneforge Mystic first game. You might see 1, maybe 2 show up. In addition to that, there's an Abrade. So maybe if he wants to have a Batterskull, any sort of Batterskull answer, Abrade might be the one to go for there as well. In addition to that, there's a interesting crop rotation package with Bajuka Bog that we probably won't see this round, but something that he might use during the course of the tournament.
Yeah, he has an interesting crop rotation package in the sideboard with a Bajuka Bog and a Caracas.
Yeah, that'll show up if he plays against lands, but I don't think it shows up here. However, the Sulfuric Vortex is the second one. He has the main one on the sideboard. You'll probably see that.
100% going to see the other Sulfuric Vortex.
Yeah, and really that's all I see as options. What do you see on your side?
So we have over here, we have some Containment Priest probably not coming in. Engineer Explosives, I could see that potentially. Supreme Verdict, maybe. Pyroblast, probably not. Rest in Peace, probably not. Maybe Flusterstorm. Blood Moon. Blood Moon would be an interesting choice to
Blood
see.
Moon would
I don't think that's coming in, but
no.
And then 2 Surgical Extractions.
Yeah, there's not really much going on in John's sideboard for options, is there?
Well, I feel John's already kind of in a good position versus a zoo type deck with kind of already having the Batterskull package main. We saw True Name Nemesis just kind of, attack.
Yeah, he's really.
And Jesse's deck doesn't really have a way to remove a True Name Nemesis.
Yeah, so he basically has the anti-zoo game plan in the main deck already. Not much going on. You might see the Engineered Explosives come in.
Yeah. I mean, even with the Swords of Plowshares, if John feels his life total is threatened, he can just start swordsing his own guys, theoretically.
That's true. Interesting to see if Sulfuric Vortex comes into play to kind of get rid of that option, though. Is there...
That would be his, with the Engineering Explosives, that would be the only way John would be able to get rid of a resolved Vortex.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, he does.
And the Council's Judgment as well.
Okay. So he does have a few options in case one of the 2 Sulfuric Vortexes does show up. So I could see, we're probably going to see, there's one Omizawa's Jite in Jesse's main deck. I could see that coming out for the second Sulfuric Vortex. You kind of want to be on one plan or the other. Unfortunately, you don't really want to play a card that just makes your guys beefier. You want them to kind of do their thing on their own. Yeah, Gore Clan Rampager obviously being a little better, being uncounterable. But beyond that, we'll probably see maybe the Searing Blazes come out. There's 2 of them in the main deck of Jesse's deck. We'll see probably an Abrade come in over one of those, just kind of playing the same role in addition to being able to pop a Batterskull.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, John, feels got to be favored here. He's got to feel good about his position heading into game 2. Jesse just unfortunately though flooded. I've played burn decks, zoo decks. Once you're hitting lands 6, 7, 8, it feels bad.
Yeah, it does feel bad.
Yeah, it feels like almost nothing you can do.
Yeah, it's really, and that's the thing we'll see with the decks that don't run the Ponder Brainstorm because they really can't. You get a lot better card selection, and John's card selection was a little better. I mean, the Ponder had to shuffle, but at the same time, he kind of drew a little better. But Brainstorm, he wouldn't have seen some of those cards as early as he did without that Brainstorm. So, really, just the card selection factor. How many lands is John running today?
John?
Yeah.
3, 6, 9,
21.
21.
Okay, yeah, so roughly the same land count. So it's interesting how the Ponder and Brainstorm really lets you cut down.
Yeah. Fetch. Thin to win. Should Jesse have been cracking those lands. I mean, you can't see drawing a million lands, though. He was just even drawing them before he was cracking there.
No, I think he was in a real trouble with that True Name Nemesis. If, like,
Well, that's the thing. Yeah,
once
he
you
was
got
stuck,
to third fetch
stuck
land.
with the Path of Exile. I mean, that did nothing there. You know, he saw Jace, and then he saw the True Name, and so it's like, well, what do I do with this path? Does nothing.
Yeah. So.
Looks like players are shuffled up.
Yeah, looking at their hands. And looks good. Wound the Cattle.
John looks like he has a Swords, a Bolt, and 3 other blue cards there. And a Tundra. Can't quite make out the blue cards there.
Yeah. I mean, 2 1-mana interaction
It looks
spells.
like might be True Name.
Okay. That's what he wants to be seeing in this matchup for sure. Would you take out the Wound the Cattle here?
On the play, I think it's fine.
Okay. Yeah, he has both options.
I think you just got to keep as much, you know, of your those 1-drops in your deck, especially on the play.
Mm-hmm.
So he has another Wild Nikado, a Grim Lavamancer, couldn't quite else see what he has there. So is John gonna bolt here? Is he gonna Swords here? Looks like he's gonna bolt.
Yeah, I was about to say before that Volcanic came out, I was gonna say bolt makes more sense here. He doesn't really know the extent of Jesse's creature base other than the Tarmogoyf. Like the Tarmogoyf is very much a Swords Plowshare's target more times than not. So you want to kind of use the bolt when you can use the bolt. It's interesting, just kind of interesting that he chose to do it during combat after seeing Goreclan Rampager last game. But it ends up working out for him because Jesse just wants to deploy more threats.
I was going to say that could have been really bad for John there. He could have ran right into a Goreclan Rampager and just kind of gotten blown out, so to speak.
Yeah.
And the follow-up with Jesse is the Grim Lavamancer and Wild Nikado, number 2. And we have a Ponder, Council's Judgment, Mountain, and a Force of Will.
Does he like them?
Looks like he has a Plains, a Sword, a True Name. Couldn't quite make out the other card.
And he does have the mana to play the Council's Judgment next turn, should he choose to. Force Will for now.
So he's going to keep the Force up there. And he is just going to Swords the Grim Lavamancer.
Yeah, that guy already represents 2 damage with the cattle and the Wooded Foothills in the graveyard.
Oh, Eidolon. So Jesse does have an Abrade in his hand already.
Okay.
So he did bring in the Abrade.
That's a good choice.
And that's going to be the Force of Will. And he's going to pitch Brainstorm. Council's Judgment, the draw for John. We have there's the Plains. And it looks like True Name's coming down.
True Name Nemesis.
Put the brick wall down on Wild Nikado.
Yeah.
So
It's an
John
answer right now and a threat later.
John Swords the Plowsharing the Grim Lavamancer because he knew he had the brick wall of True Name Nemesis coming down the following turn.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, tempo is key in these kind of matchups. Jesse's going to have to figure out how he wants to navigate this True Name.
That's a pretty good one for Jesse here.
Okay.
That's a pretty good one. John does have a Council's Judgment, though,
That's
to
true.
deal with that.
Yeah, that's the perfect answer in this point.
And there's the last card John kept with the Ponder on top there.
Looks like he's thinking about that Council's Judgment.
I think you just have to fire off the Council's Judgment here.
Yeah.
What was the other card in John's hand?
I don't remember. I can't really see.
I would just I'm not sure what the other card is, but I think you're just firing off the Council's Judgment here.
Or playing that other card. That tapping.
He's going to play.
Oh.
He is going to use the Sulfuric Vortex to his advantage here. He's going to
Okay.
clear the way, and he said, Jesse, I can race your own Vortex here. I'm gonna punish you for playing it.
Yeah, we'll probably see that Council's Judgment play more of a
Just
role
kind
in
of-
getting rid of creatures and the swing back.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He's just going to clear the creatures out with Council's Judgment. He's going to use the Vortex to his advantage. He's already got 5 power on board, and John's going to win this. Looks like could win this race.
Yeah. Although he's going to try to fight against that. He does have the Chain Lightning to take out the Snapcaster, kind of slow it down a little bit.
Oh, Eidolon comes down for Jesse. But John draws Stoneforge.
Yeah, Stoneforge, he's sitting at 11, so Stoneforge doesn't seem too risky of a play right here.
What's the
taking it
line?
to
What
9.
What are you doing here, Mike? Are you going maybe with Council's Judgment? Are you going with Stoneforge?
It's tough because in order to make Batterskull really do what it wants to do, you have to take out the Sulfuric Vortex. So that's gonna, I mean, with the land count that John has out right now, that's a huge tempo swing because you're not going to be able to activate the Stoneforge and the play the Council's Judgment in the same turn. But yeah, maybe just casting the Omizawa's Jite will be better.
I mean, this seems kind of risky, right? Because the Vortex is out and the Eidolon's out.
Yeah, it's true. Does he cast the Omizawa's Jite here?
We're going to find out. He is going to cast it.
Oh, wow.
He is going to take 2 more.
How much life do you want to cash in right now in order to gain
And
more
the
in the
True
future?
Name goes back on defense.
That makes sense. You don't want to rely on just a Stoneforge to play a Fog effect this turn.
This feels a little risky from John's side. Jesse, I think he drew another Eidolon.
Second.
He has the Abrade.
Yeah. So he has the Abrade. He does have a second Eidolon.
There's the Abrade targeting the Jite.
I'll go to 11.
And I think Jesse can just hold back here. And then John's almost in 1 burn spell range here.
Yeah. I mean, if the Price of Progress came in, that'll take him out for sure. Or will it? No, he's only at 5-star.
So John just drew Jace here. He could Jace and then bounce the Eidolon.
Yeah, the Jace does avoid it, so that's a pretty good top deck. You know, I was trying to go through the math of if you Council's Judgment here, but avoiding the Eidolon seems just like a better option.
Yep. Then there we go. Turns the race a little bit back in the John's favor.
4 damage in there.
Although, man, he's dead to just like a Chain of Lightning, a Bolt off the top.
No such luck, though.
Yeah, it looks like, John is going to squeak this one out.
Yeah.
It was risky.
Yeah, he made a risky choice with that Jite play.
He was playing it really close here. But again, Jesse drawing a lot of lands.
It's just like, I'll make my guy. You don't know what I have in hand.
And then I think all John needs to do is turn sideways.
Yeah. See if John decides to do that or...
John played it really close.
Yeah.
He's going to Fate Seal Jesse. That was a Goblin Guide. Put it to the bottom.
Yeah, take you to 2.
Take you to 2, pass turn. And then, yeah.
Oh, that's it.
Oof. John played that one really close.
Yeah, that paid off.
That could have potentially been a little closer than need be, but, let's get a good sweat going sometimes,
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
nothing to get the heart rate up a little bit in the morning.